So Jim tells you he's in dire straits. And he slips a USB drive to you and says that the drive has information on it that has to be delivered tomorrow, or very bad things will happen to Jim's family. Now, Jim is a good friend of yours, okay? And so, of course, you're going to do the right thing. You're going to do right by him. The delivery of this information has to be discreet. And the bad guys are going to be coming for whatever is on this thumb drive, all right? Jim knows if there's anyone that can pull this off, it is super spy Chris Costa. Jim will text you the delivery location first thing in the morning. And because this is Can You Survive This podcast, you can't say no to Jim. All right? So you take the thumb drive and you go on up to your hotel room. First question. Do you A, go straight to bed and get a good night's rest because tomorrow will be a hard day? Or B, hide the USB drive in the landline housing in your hotel room using a small screwdriver to gain access and tuck the thumb drive into the housing?
All right. Took away my first option, which might be not accepting the thumb drive. Of course, we're in the United States, and so there's a less chance of me getting arrested for espionage because of something that untoward that might have been put on the USB, despite Jim being a friend of mine. So, if I have to go to my hotel room, securing it, even though I don't have a real good visual for the description of, the housing unit and the link to the USB, it seems to me not putting it in the safe is the right thing to do, not just hiding it in my socks. So I'm looking for a CD, a concealment device, improvised, and you just offered me an improvised CD. I think that's probably a better option than just going to bed, because I'm not comfortable putting the USB somewhere where somebody can get access to it. So I'm going to go with B.
All right, B. Good answer. You should never let your guard down at the end of the day, really. That's the simple thing. It's like if you have the opportunity to hide it correctly, and at least that way you can get a good night's rest and you don't have to worry about whatever's on this thumb drive being compromised. So you hide it, and you get a good night's rest. And this proves wise, because the next morning, someone posing as hotel security makes up some story why you've got to leave your room so that they can do a general inspection. It's standard. It's normal. This is what they do from time to time. And of course, you oblige and you leave the hotel room. But because you did a good job hiding the USB, that quote unquote security didn't find anything. So the security leaves. You come back to your room, and like clockwork, Jim texts you the address to the cafe. It's approximately 10 blocks away. And the description of a man who you're going to meet is also part of that text. So, second question. Next, do you, A, get out of there as fast as you can, travel light so you can get this over with as quickly as possible, or B, gather some supplies that may help disguise your identity as you proceed on this impromptu mission?
Geez, I don't see any advantage of disguising myself, because, again, why would I disguise myself? I've got to meet the individual. Although on second hand, then I'm revealing what I look like to the individual when I approach him. Yeah, actually, I'm going to go with the travel light rather than wearing a disc. Wait a second. Gosh, this is a tough one. I'm thinking. Yeah,
you're thinking way into it, but yeah.
I'm thinking through branches and sequels here and a couple of moves. maybe I'm overthinking it, which might be your objective. You know what? Actually, I'm going to go with the travel light option rather than wear a disguise.
Oh man. Okay. So yeah, the answer is B. You were going down the right path. You talked yourself in and out of it, but gather some supplies, because why not? And have that ability with you before you proceed is the correct answer. Okay. So you've missed one at this point. Shame on you. All right. But once again, sometimes there are two right answers, and the right answer is the one that I pick, not the one you pick. Okay. All right, so being prepared is often key for survival. You bring a hat to help conceal your face, and you wear a black t-shirt over a white t-shirt. That way you can throw off any potential surveillance if necessary. You bring your laptop with you in a messenger bag. You also grab an empty cigar tube, because you like cigar tubes, right?
Yeah.
Yep, because they're good for concealing stuff. And that applies to one of the skills in 100 Deadly Skills Book 1, the rectal concealment. But we'll get back to that later. So you exit the hotel and proceed in the direction of the cafe. All right. There's a crowd gathering on your route that seems to be protesting something in D.C. Who would have thought? So do you, A, travel on foot through the crowd and follow the route in the most densely populated area with people, like leverage the crowd, or B, find an alternate route that has almost no pedestrians, no foot traffic, and choose that route?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I would do. I would use the crowd to my advantage. Unless it's completely hostile, I want to get lost among the sea of other individuals in the crowd, and then hopefully when I come out of the crowd, it thins out a little bit so I can detect whether I am under surveillance or not. Because the crowd is a bad place to do surveillance detection. Elsewhere, and when there's sparse population, you can certainly see if you're being followed. So in this case, I'm probably going to move through the crowd.
Oh, good answer. By taking the route that moves through the crowd, you increase your chances of blending in and becoming lost in the crowd to anyone who may be trying to follow you. So you slide your way through the crowd, keeping your head down. You move several blocks using the crowd, and you're about halfway to your destination. You turn a corner and you find yourself on a street with no one around you for that split second. Do you, A, hustle back to a route with all the pedestrians and continue to try and blend in, or B, just take this opportunity to ditch the black t-shirt, leaving the white t-shirt on underneath?
I'm going to probably go with problem is, again, I'm going to think out loud. The problem with changing your clothes is that's a bit provocative if somebody sees you doing it, right? Then there's some kind of guilt complex associated with that. On the other hand, when the crowd thins out, that's an advantage to really detect what your status is, right? Whereas diving right back into the crowd doesn't give you that advantage. So summarize the two.
So the first one is hustle back. A is hustle back to the route with all the pedestrians, or B, ditch the black t-shirt, leave it on white just to throw off your potential followers.
Yeah, because I want to be clean at the meeting site. I'm probably going to go with the t-shirt. Good.
B, ditch the black t-shirt, leave it on the white. And on that note, you and I have had all that extensive training, and I think it's important, like on a safety security side, these little tricks. These little tricks doesn't necessarily always apply. Like, not everyone's going to walk out the door each day and go, I should carry a disguise with me, or a change of appearance of some form or fashion. But it is something you could think about, like in those moments when you think you have the stalker, the crazy guy following you. There's other ways of changing appearance that could help you to evade whatever that potential situation is. It could be a change in bags, a change in shoes, a change of anything that, they lock onto and how they recognize you. A lot of times, you remember like messenger bags, it was like bad, right? For a while there, it was like you're carrying the messenger bag, you go change your clothes, but you still got the messenger bag. That's the thing they key on. Or shoes, like a lot of times shoes don't get changed and they key on shoes. And it's like, doesn't matter that you just changed all your clothes, they still see the shoes. So, but on the safety security side for the average person, if you're out there and, you think someone's behind you and you can dip into a store and maybe even buy something real quick and throw it on, a jacket or something, to just break up what their eyes are used to seeing, that is the key. You're just taking away the visual that their brain is looking for long enough for you to disappear. Okay. So yes, the quick change of disguise continue to help your efforts throw off anyone who might be trying to follow you. You continue on your route, and you make as you make your way to your destination. So, next question: do you A, speed walk as quickly as possible to get this over with as soon as possible, or B, keep an eye out for any cameras and make sure that you stay out of the view of surveillance?
All right, that's the easiest question yet. So thanks for the softball. I hope I'm right. It's going to be B, because you're never going to change your gait, because then that's alerting behavior to anybody following you. And frankly, whatever pace you are walking, you should continue in that pace. And that can be practiced, but you're always looking for what we call hotspots, right? We even have interactives at the Spy Museum that reinforce those points. You're always looking for cameras, policemen, somebody that might stop you and ask you questions. So yeah, I would focus on B.
Good job. B. Since we don't know exactly, who's following you, it's always a good idea to keep your eyes open for cameras and surveillance or anyone that may be, just checking you out. Keep your head down and use the hat to shield your face. Facial recognition these days, it's difficult to get past it, but if you have something that covers your face, like masks during a pandemic, then facial recognition just doesn't work anymore. Right. So maybe just continue to wear a mask even though we're getting through this thing. If you want to increase your privacy. You are now only a couple of blocks away. All right, so you're doing a good job. You cross the street as you get closer to your destination, but now you kind of got this feeling someone is following you. So do you A, start glancing behind you to see if anyone's coming up from behind, or B, use the glass on the storefront. Now, you mentioned this earlier in our conversation, which I thought was funny. Use the glass on a storefront to see if anyone is behind you.
So I'm going to use the glass. I'm going to use the glass for reflection, because there's a way to do that artfully. What I was saying earlier is what you don't want to do is stop and tie your shoes or be so obvious, right? Every bad spy movie has somebody looking in the reflection of a window. There's a way to do it very, very artfully. And that's what I would do, because turning around is just a dead giveaway that you're looking to see if somebody's behind you, right? So you want, what I alluded to earlier is you want your route to work for you. And a trained intelligence officer will do a detailed route planning. Whereas I didn't have a chance to do a detailed route planning, right, in this scenario, or I'm going to presume I didn't. So I do have to use available resources. Yeah,
no, good answer. Looking around, having your head on a swivel, it does work in some cases when we talk about civilians on the street, being alert and knowing what's going on around you. You most definitely want to do that. During those times when you're playing a little bit of chess with potential surveillance folks, then you don't. So there is a time and place for either one. But at the end of the day, as it relates to security and safety, do what feels right, especially in these situations where if you feel like you're being followed. You're listening to Can You Survive This podcast? Thanks for tuning in. please make sure to subscribe, rate, and share on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite shows.